In last video, we discussed about Jupiter in the second house of the horoscope. In this video, we are going to talk about what happens when you have Saturn in the second house of your horoscope. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. And these videos will help you go further, faster into Vedic astrological studies. These videos will help you raise your vibrations and become the best you with the help of Vedic astrology. If you're not following me on Instagram, well, this is my ID. Go follow me on Instagram. And if you are looking for readings and consultations, check out the link into the description section. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Saturn is polar opposite of the Jupiter. We talked about the Jupiter in the second house in the last video and how it is bringing the abundance, wealth, and all that income and cash inflow into your life and all the gains, financial abundance into your life. Saturn is the karaka of the scarcity. Okay, so what is Saturn? The first thing which comes to my mind when I think of Saturn is negativity. Yes, Saturn is negative. We have to embrace the negativity of life to strike the balance. We can't always be positive. If we always look for the positivity, yes, we have to be positive. We have to be an alchemist. We have to find the best out of the worst and keep moving ahead. Okay, but we are talking about Saturn. Saturn is negativity. Saturn is about the bad things in life, like failure, like disease, like inabilities, restriction. Saturn also brings in the distrust into one's life. These guys never trust anybody. These people, the Saturn, the people who are governed by the Saturn are the people who are extremely hardworking. They have the capacity to work for long hours. Okay, so Saturn is all about the hard work. Saturn is a great critic. He never trusts anyone. That's why he is always questioning. These are the guys who will always question whether astrology work or not, for sure, because they have the blessings of Saturn. They have that analytical mind. They have that distrust in them that they can't believe in anything. As I just told you, Saturn is a polar opposite of the Jupiter. Jupiter is all about the higher beliefs and faith. Jupiter rules the 9th house of the horoscope, which is about the faith. And the 9th house, if you observe, is just after the house of death. So you have to believe. The belief and faith starts after the death. There is no faith and belief before the death. Okay, so you have to believe in the death. So it is like a Jupiterian thing to believe that something beyond the death, which is very physical, we experience this in this realm on this life. We have to think beyond that. That is Jupiter. But Saturn, he doesn't trust anybody. He will ask you difficult questions which you may not have answers to. Okay, he is that sharp. He has that critical analytical abilities. Okay, so he is like a scientist. And what is the second house? Second house is the house of support. The first house is your house of your physical body, and second house is the fixed house. Second house is the succeedent house. Second house is the panapara house. Second house is the supporting house to the first house. Second house is the house of your family. Second house is the house of your wealth. Second house is the house of your finances. Second house is the house of your food. This is the house of nourishment, which gives you all the resources, food, money to make your life comfortable, to make this physical body, the first house, that is yourself. The second house is there to help you, to support you, to nourish you with all the resources, money and tangible things in life. And we have discussed what is Saturn. Now we have to think the possible outcomes when we are going to conjunct this Saturn into the second house of the horoscope. Let us jump into it. Saturn is all about the negativity. Saturn is a kind of a restriction. Saturn likes to be alone. And what is the second house? Second house is the house of family. And what is family? Family is people coming together, right? We have parents like mother, father, or husband, wife, they have their children, grandparents, and this is family. But Saturn likes to be alone. Saturn doesn't like to mingle. Networking like a Gemini, forget about Gemini, but networking itself is out of the nature for Saturn. So when this Saturn is into the second house, the planet of separation, the planet who loves to be alone, when it comes into the house of family. So what it shows is these people struggle with the family. What do I mean by that? These people have an ability to be on themselves. So these guys become the self-made successful people. Okay, because from the early childhood they know the harsh realities. Because what is second house? Second house is your early childhood. So when a person has this planet into the second house of their childhood environment, these people are well aware of the harshness of the realities of the life. So they know from the beginning what they have to do. So this is the second house is all about family, and so these people become independent and they have the capacity to be successful without the support of the family. So these people can achieve their goals on their own. Second house is all about the stability and a fixed nature. Saturn loves this quality of the second house. So Saturn is also a very fixed and predictable planet. He is an old guy. He is not a teenager like a Mercury who is unpredictable. He is an old guy. He has been through the life and now he is the significator of the death. Okay. The point is he is a very stable guy. So Saturn in the second house is very comfortable and loves second house for its fixed nature. Second house is the house of your speech, and Saturn is a very quiet planet. He doesn't like to speak much. So person with the Saturn in the second house won't talk much. They hardly talk anything. They are very quiet. They do not like to talk all the time like Mercury or Venus, Moon. No, they are very quiet. The next signification of the second house is wealth. Second house is about your wealth. Second house is all about your finances, is about your savings. And what is the Saturn? Saturn is the signification for the restriction. So these guys saves money. So the person with the second house Saturn is a master of saving money. Okay, he loves to save money because he is insecure. He is insecure about the future due to that Saturnian impact, Saturnian influence on the second house of the horoscope. So these people are always keeping their money for the future and it pays them into the long run. Okay, the next signification for the second house is about the food. Second house is the house of food and nourishment, and the Saturn is the karaka of lack of nourishment. So when a planet of decrease, restriction, and Saturn comes into the house of nourishment, he is very dry about it. He doesn't care about the nourishment part of it. So he won't be keen towards the health, so he won't be very interested in taking care of the body or nutrition in general. So the another signification for the Saturn is health. Excuse me. Another signification for the second house is health. And what is the Saturn? The signification of the Saturn. Saturn is all about illness, is about restriction, is about disability, is about the delays. And when these energies come into the second house of your health, what it shows is more than these disabilities and inabilities and the restrictions, Saturn is very fixed in nature and a stable guy. So what it does is, a person with the Saturn in the second house, Saturn gives this guy a stable health. Health won't be that robust as Jupiter in the second or Moon, Venus, Mars in the second, but it will give the stable health. It won't be that great, but will keep him stable. Okay. The next signification of the second house is the value. The things which we value, our conviction and all that we have stored. Okay. Apart from money, bank balance, these are the human values. Second house is also about the knowledge. And Saturn is Saturn basically rules air element. So Saturn is a very intelligent guy. You won't believe Saturn is having the best critical and analytical skills of all the planet. So Saturn will ask the question. Saturn will always ask the questions, no matter what. He won't believe anything. We talked about this in the distrust. Okay. So second house is the house of your knowledge, the things which you store, the values, and now it is getting the boost from the Aries Saturn through the critical nature and analytical skills. So it is a very great combination for developing your logic and to store the knowledge. He won't be sharing that knowledge with others as freely as Mars or Jupiter, because Jupiter is expansive, Mars is aggressive and enterprising, who will take an initiative. But Saturn is a very, very humble guy. He is not confident enough to go and share with others. He may be having the best of the knowledge, but he won't be keen to share with others, because restriction is another signification of the Saturn. Okay. From second house, Saturn aspects the fourth house of your horoscope. What is the fourth house? Fourth house is all about your private life, is about your mother, is about your home. And when Saturn aspects the fourth house is also the house of your mother. So what it does is, what it shows is, mother of the person with the Saturn in the second house is very disciplined, is like the Saturn. So these people will have a very challenging childhood, I would say, because their mother is very demanding, is a very disciplined. She may be having the best of the interest, but as a child, the person with the Saturn in the second house will feel that burden, will feel it as a burden, and won't feel the warmth of mother's love. He will find her disciplined, and he may not like that. From second house, Saturn is aspecting the eighth house. Saturn loves the eighth house. Eighth house is the house of the hidden things, is about the knowledge, occult, mysticism, everything that is buried underground. Saturn loves to be here. So when Saturn is aspecting the eighth house is also the house of your in-laws and others' money. When Saturn is aspecting the eighth house, you will be more drawn towards the eighth house things, like the occult, mysticism, and you will have a very keen interest into all these things, and you might pursue one of these. From the 10th aspect, Saturn is aspecting the 11th house of the horoscope. What is the 11th house? 11th house is the house of Labha. 11th house is the house of your gains. and 10th house of the Saturn, 10th aspect of the Saturn on the 11th house, what it shows is these person are not confident enough to go out and work to get the gains. Okay, and this also shows some burden with the elder siblings, but it also gives them the conviction and discipline to work for the longer duration to achieve the gains. Okay, because second house is the house of finances and 11th house is the house of a Kama Trikon, which is an air element trine, and Saturn loves to be into air element trine. So yes, this was Saturn as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You will be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. If you have any questions, comment down below. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. Hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibes. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.